Former Vice President and potential 2020 hopeful Joe Biden is trying to contain the fallout after two women accuse him of inappropriate behavior. Some lawmakers and celebrities are coming to Biden's defense, but others are saying the Me Too era is reason to reconsider signs of affection. CBS News Chief Congressional Correspondent Nancy Cordes has more for us from Capitol Hill.
It is a big part of who he is, that he hugs people and connects with people and talks to people.
Delaware Senator Chris Coons came to his mentor's defense today. Coons insisted his daughter was not disturbed by this televised nuzzle from former Vice President Joe Biden in 2015.
There was a huge bank of cameras, about 50, and Joe, who knows her, leaned forward and whispered some encouragement, telling her that she was doing great, that she looked wonderful.
Did his actions make her feel uncomfortable?
No. My children have known Joe Biden their whole lives.
But with a presidential bid on the line, Mr. Biden's intimate style is now taking a toll.
Do I consider it inappropriate to smell someone's hair? To get so close that I smell their hair? Yes.
The controversy cropped up after two Democrats, former Nevada State Assemblywoman Lucy Flores and former congressional staffer Amy Lapos, described unusual encounters with Mr. Biden.
He was talking to me while he was rubbing my nose with his.
Other Democratic presidential hopefuls steered clear today.
It's good to see you today.
As Mr. Biden's team pushed back, issuing quotes from female friends, aides, and colleagues who said he never once crossed the line. Mr. Biden himself said it was never his intention to make anyone uncomfortable. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi took her longtime ally to task today, urging him to say more.
So to say I'm sorry that you were offended is not an apology.
Nancy Cordes joins us now from Capitol Hill. Nancy, what's your sense? Is this the type of thing the former vice president can recover from if he runs in the Democratic primary? Because it seems to give opponents an opening as far as a line of attack.
It does, especially because there's video and there are pictures, and that always makes it more difficult to overcome something like this. Even though many Democrats you will speak to will say they don't consider these actions that have been described as harassment per se. Even the victims said that they don't feel that they were harassed, even though they did feel uncomfortable by the encounters. But still, those pictures are out there, and one can envision them being used in advertisements, if not in the Democratic primary, then certainly if in a general election, if it got to that. But a lot of this, Errol, really depends on how the former vice president handles this. Until now, he's been pretty quiet. He issued a statement on Sunday. It was pretty brief. You heard the House Speaker say that she'd like to hear a little more from him. But there's some calculus clearly going on here in the Biden camp between those who say keep quiet, stay low to the ground, try to let this blow over. And there are others, Democrats in the party, who are arguing that in this Me Too era, that is simply not enough, that he needs to come forward with a more full-throated apology and explain his actions and explain to the American people that this is something that he has learned from. We'll see in the days to come which side wins out.
And separately, I want to ask you about the latest on the Mueller report, which none of us have seen. We've only seen the Attorney General's summary.
Right.
6 House committee chairs have told Attorney General William Barr they will issue subpoenas Wednesday for the full report. What are the next steps once that happens?
Well, there are a number of legal scholars who don't believe that they'll be successful with those subpoenas. The Attorney General has said that he's working his way through the report, that some portions of the report are going to have to be redacted for various reasons, confidentiality and classified information and the like, and that he will release that redacted report sometime in the middle of the month. But that is sure to infuriate Democrats, who will argue, no matter what he gives them, that it isn't enough, that too much has been held back. And so the fight will go on, both in the court of public opinion and potentially in the court system as well.
And I just want to ask you about health care. President Trump and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said Republicans will hold off on a health care overhaul plan until after the 2020 presidential election. Do we know what exactly was behind this decision and how Republicans are reacting to it, because for a moment it appeared as if President Trump was pulling this concept out of thin air without any consultation of Republican leadership.
Right, and then it sounds like Republican leadership gave him a bit of a reality check. In fact, Leader McConnell told reporters that basically he spoke to the president and said, look, this is just not going to happen. There is a Republican Senate, there is a Democratic House, there is absolutely no chance that that those two bodies are going to be able to agree on a common health care system. Republicans weren't even able to really do it when they controlled both the House and the Senate, so how are they going to do it now, cooperating with a Democratic House? So he told the president, no way, no how, at least not this year. And as you mentioned, Errol, there was no plan in the first place. The president seemed to be describing some mystery plan, but Republicans and Democrats alike didn't know what he was talking about. So they had that frank conversation. The president tweeted that actually there would be a plan to come after the 2020 election, that he would campaign on that issue, and that seemed to provide him an out, and also provided Republicans an opportunity to avoid getting entangled in an issue that, by all accounts, did so much damage to them in the 2018 midterm elections, when health care was shown in many polls to be the #1 issue, and a majority of people who said that that was their biggest issue voted for Democrats.
A little bit of proof that wishful thinking only goes so far, even when you're the president. Nancy Cordes, thanks so much.
You're welcome.